Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with our second video. We're going to be installing the Polaris bumper decals that we have here, the UV protected ones. They're a little bit more difficult because they're a little bit more flimsy. They're not as stiff as the Polaris glitter decals. So I managed to pop these out nice and easy since they weren't in very long and salvage these decals. So for those that take the chance and looking at our second video here, if you want a free set of these slower red decals that make your Slingshot go about 20 to 30 miles per hour slower, might cause a few more problems with brake lights coming on and maybe a steering box going out. That's the fault of these red decals. But hey, everybody to their own. We've got to sell them because people got red Slingshots. Sorry that you made that choice, but hey, we still love you. You're part of the family. We'll be there to help you fix your sling whenever you go down, all right? But if you have the faster gray one and you have some gray decals, you'll be adding a lot of invisible horsepower. So what we're going to start with today is you're going to need a pair of scissors, a rag, some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. The higher the percentage of proof, the better. Okay, just like we like our regular alcohol. Then some 12 ounces of water to 10 to 15 drops of soap. So you only want to put a little bit of soap in there just to make it a little bit slushy and soapy and gooey and all that other good stuff. And I choose not to use this for my install. You can use this. You want to spray just a little bit on there like so and kind of rub it around. The soap will help keep it set for a few minutes, and that'll give you enough ample time to be able to place the decal, put it on there, and then slide it around as you need to see fit. I've found it easier though in my installs that I don't need to do that because I've been doing this so many times. But for the person who is the novice, you might want to use that just so that you can get it in there, slide it around, and get it set to where you need it. Now, you're going to take the alcohol, you're going to put it on the rag kind of generously, and go ahead and clean off your bumper, especially working the inside impressions of the Polaris word, so that way it gets out any bugs, any wax, for those of you who wax this part of the area to make it a little bit more shiny. Armor All I really don't recommend, but to each their own. Everybody has their own opinions about Armor All, and I don't like it. But anyway, so you want to get this nice and clean. The alcohol will evaporate away, leaving you a nice, clean, smooth surface. It'll also take off any wax or soap or anything that you have in there and help the decal stick directly to the bumper. So you're going to take your stickers, you're going to cut the first letter off, okay? We're going to cut that letter off. Set aside our other decals. Now, we use a medium tack transfer tape. That is because when we're working with this inset, it is not very easy to get the inset in there and then pull it off if this is extremely tacky. It's going to be really difficult because you're going to have to let it sit for a minute. But with the medium tape, what we like to do is we'll rub it to get it on there as best as we can. Grab the transfer tape with your thumb if you're left or right-handed, however is easier for you. Kind of peel this back on a flat surface at a 90-degree angle as best you can. And as you're pulling it back, you want to kind of coax the decal to the transfer tape. And then once you get the corner of the decal back on the transfer tape, it'll come right off. Now we're left with this. You want to take, we leave a little bit of extra tape up top for this reason, that you can take, bend this back like so. All right, and the sticker, since this is medium sticky transfer tape, will start to lift off of the tape itself and expose itself. So as we do that, the tighter peel you give, you just want to roll it down. Okay, roll it down to about halfway. Now you can see that the P is kind of exposed there. There's the tape. You don't want to touch it. You don't want to knock it because it could leave wrinkles. Okay, so you've got it looking like that. You're holding the tape. Going to line it up with the impression here. And we're just going to go ahead and push it on down in there. Just like so. Alright. Now, once that's in there, let go of the bottom. Let it do its magic and press it the rest of the way lightly, not very hard. We don't want to push it down just yet, okay? Because you see it's going to be a little bit off. So now, working all the air to the center of the P, to the outer edge of the P, pressing it in nice and firm, working that air all the way down and around, you'll see that it'll start to just lay right in there. It's okay if some of the decal kind of lays over on the inset. The reason for that is because these are cut differently from factory that we figured out, and some are bigger than others. I don't know why, but the earlier models had the bigger letters, bigger impression. I don't know if it was something to do with the molding process, if they just did it at a different factory, whatever, but believe it or not, these are different on certain slings, especially the older models like mine. So there we go. That is in there nice and smooth and looking good. Okay, if you want to come back through later on and kind of cut some of that excess off, you can, but it doesn't really hurt nothing to have that in there. Some people like to use a heat gun to help shrink it into the impression a little better. You can do that. Really, you don't need to though. It's just extra work. All right, now the more difficult one is going to be the O. We're going to go ahead and cut that off. Doing the same thing. If you need to add water for this one, you can. I'm going to try and peel this off on a flat surface. Okay, again using my finger to kind of coax it onto the transfer tape, and once that corner is on the transfer tape, now I can go ahead and just lift it off. Alright, nice and slow, and there it is. Perfect. Alright, so now again using the rolling technique, you're going to pinch that front transfer tape forward. You'll begin to see the decal start to lift off the backing a little bit. Nice and easy. On this one, you don't want to go too far because you want some of the star to stay intact. You don't want it to crinkle as you set it. So we're going to go about right there. You can see maybe a little more than 1/8 of an inch. And we've got our star. I'm going to put this on there pretty close to center. Right up next to the impression, and I'm going to push it in just like so. Alright, now that is set, so I'm going to work the other areas of the decal and peel this down as I go. Okay. Working these two pieces of the decal and still peeling it down as I go, and most of it should line up pretty close. Alright, gonna kind of just round all the way around it. There you go. And then we'll get in here, we'll work this sticker outwards. I like to work it outwards because it'll push it into the impression. You're not gonna push the decal back up onto the top of the star, and it'll look nice and smooth. Alright, doing the same thing on the bottom. Got a little bit of a crinkle right there, but that's okay. It's just air. It'll push right out. If you do happen to get any bubbles inside underneath the decals, don't worry about it. It's okay. The sun will actually help dry those out as it heats up the decal. The glue will become a little bit more tacky and the bubbles will subside. So there we go. There's our O. Perfect. Okay. Now, there we go. Moving on to the L. If you use water on this, you're going to want to let it sit before you peel off that transfer tape right away, because it's going to need to dry a little bit underneath. The reason why I don't like to do it is because the transfer tape won't allow that impression to come out, and it's going to kind of keep it at an angle or curved up like this, pulling the sticker back off. I don't like to do that. I like to use no water, but you may find it easier with the water. Okay, I'm going to use the L now, kind of peel that back, get the L off. There it is, you can see it's coming off. Alright, and we have liftoff right there. Okay. Want to be careful not to give it too much in the front, because then it'll start to crinkle. Alright, so now this one's rather easy. You just keep working it down nice and slow. You can see it's starting to lift on its own from the pressure. The more at an angle you can get this transfer tape to roll down, the better. Okay, I'll roll it almost all the way down to the L portion so everything is out. and I'm just left with the little L portion. I'm going to line this up right in the center of the impression. Make sure that it's at the bottom or at the inside of the impression itself when you go to push it in, and release that part and lay it in there just like so. Alright, now I'm going to peel this down nice and easy, and there we go. Now your impression is, your decal is laying right inside the impression. You just go ahead and rub it in, and it looks like that. Nice and smooth. I'm just using my fingernail to kind of get around the edges in the corner. And there you go. With time, these will actually flatten out a little bit better. Alright, looking good. Okay, now for the A. From here on out, after you get past that O, it becomes pretty easy. Okay, again, getting the transfer tape on my thumb. Peeling back this A. Just takes a little bit of the corner to get, and then it'll come right off. Now, as you can see here, our cutter got a little close or a little deep into the decal. If that happens, try and switch sides, okay? Go to another side that it might not grab as deep. There we go, see? Now the A is coming off, and we should be able to lift it right out. See? So this side stayed down, or this side was lifting the A off, the other side didn't. Okay, now again, roll. Use the roll technique. Get the decal to lift up on its own. And it's okay, you're not hurting the back of the decal or anything by putting your fingers on it. Just let it roll, kind of pinch right there as it's lifting, and you see, boop, there it is. Alright, now we're going to lay this in there. My cameraman's laughing at me. It's okay, he's grounded. We're going to lay that in there, just like so. Apply a little pressure. Let the bottom go. Apply just a little bit of pressure. And roll the decal or the transfer tape off. Alright, and then work it down. Just like that. Now on this one you can see I've got a little bit of a crease. So I want to try and work out as much of it as I can to the center. And then the opposite way. And now look, the crease is gone. Okay. Always work it out and towards the center. Don't ever try and force it straight up and down, because then that's how you're going to be left with a big deep crease in the decal. Alright, that looks good. Now I personally have done this for a lot of slingshots, a lot of friends, people that have them, and it doesn't take me very long. This video will probably roll by in about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes total. But if you just take your time, do it once, do it right, it's pretty easy. So it's doing that tear thing again. We'll come over here to the other side. Try it from the other side. Peel the decal off. There it goes. And we're up. Rolling it down. Again. And there you have it. The final letter is in there. The S is nice and tight around the corners. Use your fingernail to kind of round those edges if you have to. Get it all nice and flush. And it'll look just fine. Perfect. Now, if you have any problems with any individual letter, please let us know. Not everybody's an expert at doing this the first time. You can take your time, go through it nice and slow, but if you do have any problems, please let us know. We'll hook you up. We won't leave you out in the cold. We want it to look good. These are our rides. We pay a lot of money for them, and we pay a lot of money for our mods. So if you have any issues with any letters, individual letters, we can cut those and send them out to you. Not a problem. All right. We want it to look right, and we want you to keep coming back and buying more from us later whenever you're ready to change the color. So again, any issues, email us, shoot us a phone call, shoot us a text, however you can, get a hold of us, and we will take care of you, get you out an individual letter if you need to, or if something goes wrong.